I'm very happy to see the American flags being waved right now, right? I mean, that is a good thing. But
the New York Times is trying to pretend that this has always been the case. They had this piece last week or earlier this week about the muscular patriotism of Kamala Harris, and it's based on that bad Captain America AI meme of Kamala coming out with the shield. And if you pay attention, if you look too closely in this image, it's actually kind of frightening. Yeah. And they say, most Democrats, of course, think of themselves as the real patriotic party. But then they had to mention the polls. The Democrats are not the patriotic party. They're doubled in enthusiasm by Republicans. But hey, I would actually love if some of the rhetoric that's put on display this week about patriotism, about loving America, about the founders, about George Washington being a good guy, stuck around. Because last week, George Washington was a slaver who should be written out of history.
Exactly. We should take down the statue. Now Joe Biden's like him, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Over under on white dudes for Harris being mentioned in Harris's speech.
Ooh.
I mean, I would say no because it's the most appalling thing ever, but that's probably why it would be mentioned. And
she
probably why
cringe.
40% of America would be like, yeah.
And probably, I would say, higher chance of black jobs being mentioned, which is
for sure.
It's funny.
Michelle already got that in, but Kamala will steal it and just go, you know what, I need to say that too. It got a big applause line.
Yeah, and it's funny because for like 60 years, Democrats have been promising jobs to black people at every single convention. Like, they've never once delivered. And I can see why. It turns out if you actually succeed and pull away from poverty and go to Yale, you get made fun of at the DNC. But I guess it's now a problem to talk about it. It's interesting. But she's up for it. And I wonder if shit was come on before Joe Biden falls asleep.
I'm digging seeing these hard hats as well as the American flag too, and you're just saying, am I at a Trump rally? It feels like I'm at a Trump rally. Interesting.
It's interesting. The talk of football, the talk of faith, the talk of patriotism, but then they do that weird, like Raphael Warnock thing where they just sprinkle abortion into the faith talk.
Oh yeah, or it's like Walz.
I can't get over the football talk. I was a former sports reporter before I jumped over to politics. That's the worst football speech I've ever heard, you guys. I have heard so many football speeches in my life, and that was by far the worst, the most cringiest. I could not. It was like nails on a chalkboard.
It was pretty bad, and I never had a coach nearly as weak as that guy. My coaches were mean. They were tough. You were running hills.
Weak? I'm sorry. He's the face of masculinity.
A new low testosterone masculinity. And it's not like me projecting that thought. This was actually what CNN and MSNBC were talking about.
So this is the thing. It's like they get the flag, right? They get the hard hats, and then it's all a LARP. And the masculinity thing is where they say it. That's where the tell is, because they basically say, this guy wears his masculinity as a skin suit to actually not be masculine. Okay, I mean, I don't understand this at all. The craziest thing about it too is it's supposed to be a new thing where, did you ever hear about how some men are like too tough and masculine and really, they're just concealing their feelings and repressing their true selves? I'm like, yeah, I think I saw that in a movie in 1965. I mean, this is the old. I just can't believe anyone buys this anymore. But then again, I mean, look, they do. So the best we can do is roast this and have a good time and take some shots.
I loved it. Our buddy Steve Day said on X earlier today, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Rather, all male behavior is not masculine, and that's what's actually toxic. Right? Like, they're just trying to flip absolutely everything.
Yeah, but also, if you're talking about masculinity at all, it's kind of like talking about being cool. Like, why would you shouldn't have to talk about that. It's not cool
to talk about it.
You should just live. Like, you should just be yourself.
Just be a man.
Just be a man. The fact that they're talking about it is the tell. Like, well, actually, there's a new masculinity, and we have a masculinity here that we can talk about. And it's, why would you talk about that? It's like saying it's like the bubble of her being cool, right?
They're so threatening.
She's really cool. That's She's super cool, guys. I'm super cool, guys. I'm super cool.
If you have to keep saying it,
seriously, I'm super serial. I'm really masculine.
It's not real.
Stop trying to fetch a thing.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Exactly.
You guys, I can't get over just the fact that they have turned everything good into bad things and everything bad into good. But that's what the Democrats do. And even at the DNC, they try to make it. They try and make it like, hey, have you seen? They are wearing a lot of purple. We're just like you guys. It's red and blue put together. There are a lot of purple themes that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a strange
Oprah
thing.
was wearing purple. Like there were a lot of purple tones put in.
Is that supposed to be like a bipartisan thing?
I think it's a subliminal bipartisan thing.
Guys, this is the longest time I've ever seen any Democratic anything focus on the American flag unironically. It's
I like
insane.
it.
It's like they actually want to get elected and they realize they can't act the way they have for the last however many years.
Bill Clinton and Obama were both lecturing them on that. Like, hey, you know, we need to treat people civilly.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the country. We need to persuade. It's like they got that was the actual pep talk that she got was from those two politicians who put together winning coalitions.